You have to realize that not all great stories begin or end in the most amazing place, but sometimes even the most mundane of places can become a gateway to the most bizarre. As evidenced in the tale herein, you may find that, while bizarre in and of itself, 'tis not for those who would presume to think that we are completely isolated. Nor is it in so much to say that our isolation is not beyond maddening, but the possibility exists nonetheless that there is an inevitability that sooner or later humanity will come in contact with things they will not understand and will not be able to explain, not with any rational thought. But this is a story of exactly that. It all started on a cold September day. Winter hadn't yet come to its fruition in the night air, but the days were getting shorter and colder as time went on, and markedly the people of the world got more miserable as the approaching wake of winter became more inevitable. I suppose in the end, it was only inevitable that it was raining. It mostly fits a somber mood on a cold day to experience the droplets of rain at their most inhospitable to us poor people that traverse the world in hopes that one day we will be of great glory or fame. But not so for one particular individual who, by hapstance, happened to get caught in the rain without umbrella and nowhere near home. So, walking as he did, he came to the conclusion that he would need to at least approach a building for at least a little while to get out of the rain. Sparing the modest change he had in his pocket, he figured he had enough for a short meal in one of the restaurants nearby, although this really just equates to a coffee shop. So, streaming in line with other wet, miserable people, he took it upon himself to impatiently wait in the line halfway out in the cold until he actually got in and managed to get the door closed behind him. But with the streaming line and heavy service of the entire shop and the closeness of dinner time, it was without exception that he was waiting for at least a half hour before he got said lunch. Sitting down with a mediocre sandwich and less than satisfactory hot chocolate, he figured better not to complain and just let someone do their job. So he ate in silence by himself, soaked to the bone. He'd been walking for about 20 minutes after all. What one does to keep in shape. Now, his body wasn't morbidly overweight, but it definitely packed on some pounds over the years. And he definitely hadn't been doing what was necessary to keep it up to date. But then again, who in what modern age ever decided to take the hard road to being a pro athlete? The vast majority are content with their Happy Meals and their burgers, their chicken, their rice, and their all-you-can-eat buffets to ever consider seriously weight training or exercising like the men of old who really had to work very hard to get what they ate. So, downing a sandwich with quite outdated ham was a modern privilege by those standards, and he enjoyed it nonetheless, although he did wish there was some company. Now this is where the story gets a little weird. He didn't come to realize at first that he had company, but nevertheless someone had sat down next to him, and, well, the man was undesirable, to say the least, and definitely a little smelly. Homeless? Sorry, I don't have much change left, but you can have 20 cents. Listen, I'm not here for change. I'm here to warn you. They've taken an interest in you. They? I'm sorry, who are you talking about? Well, that's not easy to explain. Maybe a demonstration is in order. Without further ado, the would-be homeless man got up and walked towards the crowd, proficiently picked the pocket of one of the individuals without even making an attempt at stealth. It confounded the young man to watch this older man simply walk up unnoticed and literally take out money from the other person's wallet and put it back in as if nothing was wrong. Nothing was amiss. And the first thing that he should suspect in our modern age is that he was being punked. So he started looking around for any hidden camera or anything like that, and Ashton Kutcher to pop out with a big pat on the back saying, "Thanks for going along with our prank," but that didn't happen. The man sat down and continued. "I'm assuming you've seen what I just did. It's definitely not what I saw. There's got to be some kind of trick to it," the young man replies. "Oh, there is a trick to it. You see, no one else in this room, except for you, can see me. Go ahead, shall I prove it?" "Okay, I'll humor you, but only for now," the young man replied. The hobo in question, whose whitish, grayish hair obviously showed signs of great age and perhaps even involvement in several great wars, proceeded to get up and, unapologetically walking over to a nearby table with two people, a man and another man, seeming to enjoy the conversation of what they would do when they got back to work after dinner, and furthermore what they would do later on that night when they went drinking. The homeless undesirable, for lack of a better word, abruptly and very rudely tipped over the coffee and the plate with the donut on it belonging to the other man, except it appeared that simultaneously he was pushing the other man's hand to do it in such a careless manner whereby it would have not been noticed. And what happened next was what surprised the young man even more. Without acknowledging the homeless man, the two spouted into the natural, apologetic conversation that comes from one being overly clumsy at the dinner table. And they, apologize to the waitstaff and essentially get a fresh cup, and just long story short, there is now a cashier mopping the floor of the said spill. The man comes back over and sits down. At no point did anyone acknowledge that there was anything out of the ordinary with the situation whereby someone just spilled coffee on the ground. To all appearances, to everyone else in the room, that's precisely what happened. "How did you... This has got to be a prank." "I assure you it's not, and you'd better listen very carefully," the old man said, his tone far more desperate than before. "You should also consider," he says, No one has noticed you having this conversation with me. As a matter of fact, to all appearances from the outside world, you appear to be sitting enjoying your coffee, completely indiscriminate of anyone else here. Not even really paying attention to anyone else. How are you? A long story short, psionics, telepathy, mind over matter, if that makes any sense. But it got more to do with your world than what it has to do with my ability. Although I guarantee you I'm fully capable of such a thing, it doesn't alter the fact that your world naturally makes it easier for my kind to do our work here. You have the sight. You can see us. And we've been wandering the streets and noticing you noticing us, where no one else should notice us. And that, I must say, is a bit of a problem. Because you see, you're either one of us, or you should completely ignore us. Never in a situation should it ever be that you're not one of us and notice us. Because that implies you are one of us, you just haven't realized it yet. And trust me, your mind's only allowed you to see so far that which you're willing to accept as there. Meaning, there are things that you still can't see, that I can, that would cause you to quake in your boots in utter mortal terror. But you have the sight, and it's been confirmed. And now your life is forever cast into a maelstrom that will go far beyond your control, and perhaps even more than what you ever wanted to accomplish. But nevertheless, you're stuck in that downward spiral now, and you will either be seen as crazy by the people that you admit are real, or you will join us in our ranks and our mission. It's become problematic. I blame your eyes, really. My eyes, the young man said. What do my eyes have to do with it? They're a little bit different than everyone else's. I don't even mean in color. Well, not the color everyone else sees. They are beautiful, by the way. But eyes like that don't belong to a human. What are you talking about? I have blue eyes. That's not what I mean. I can tell you are going to be difficult to work with, so I'm going to lay this to you straight. You can either join us, or you can suffer. It is your choice, and I leave you with that. Without a further word, the men got up and began to leave. And when the young man responded in kind, as if trying to convince someone to stay, or even looking a little angry and flustered at the conversation itself and the threat, got strange looks from everyone else nearby, as if he was reacting and jumping at a shadow. And that made him instantly sit back down and sip his hot chocolate again while the homeless man walked off. Yet nevertheless, not very long after, he got up and started to follow. And that is where the story really begins, because that is the first step into the primordial darkness of the human heart. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and keep around for Chapter 2. And yes, I am the king of the proverbial mindfuck stories, so please bear with me as I enjoy this sort of thing, and it is my passion. So, wishing you the best of the day, and adieu, and have a good one. And hopefully I'll be able to get more to you later. A little bit later.